Good morning and welcome to the Point. It is Friday, August 7th, 2020. Thank you to those of you joining us on the GBN Television Facebook page, the Grenada Broadcasting Network's YouTube channel, those of you on the website, www.gbn.gd, those of you watching on GBN TV, channel 7, 11 and 20, and the folks listening to Classic 105.5, 105.9, Hot 98.5, 98.7. It is Open Line Friday here on To The Point, 435-2041. That's the landline number. You can also call us and participate on the WhatsApp. Sorry, not call, but message us on the WhatsApp. Only written messages on the WhatsApp. It's also 435-2041. You can participate as well as on the GBN Television Facebook page and the Grenada Broadcasting Network's YouTube channel. Let's go to our first caller of the program. Good morning.
Good morning, Auntie Blossom.
Morning, Ms. Jeremiah. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Okay.
You made me laugh this morning.
Good. That was my plan.
That was a plan?
Yes.
Well, that's good. Keep Grenada laughing.
I'll try.
You're doing a good job, Blossom. You must be complimented and you must be commended.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
You must be, I'm telling you.
Thank you.
Oh, somebody called me and said, why did Blossom make you shame? I said, Blossom make me shame. I said, listen to me. The lady's doing her job and she has rules to follow. And if that somebody goes out of it, she has to correct them. And I am not subject to non-correction. So if I shouldn't call name, I shouldn't call name. I don't see it as make me shame. I don't know how people
Well, I'm glad you didn't see that because that wasn't my intention. Thank you.
No, don't take on that. I understand. I know what you mean. I understand.
Good.
But I was carried away with what I was getting.
No problem.
Anyhow, I want to continue in Matthew chapter 5. And this morning I want to read from verse 3 to 12. And I want us to take note of the word that starts every chapter, every verse. Blessed, blessed, blessed. And when God repeats something, overly repeating something, we have to take note. It is not just you just have a bypass. Not that when you just say, it has meaning, and when it comes from the mouth of God, it is the truth, and we must consider it. He said in verse 3, blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. I want to read that verse again. Blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. That's another verse I want to repeat. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called children of God. Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you, and say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake. Rejoice and be exceeding glad, for great is your reward in heaven. For so persecuted they the prophets which were before you. So, these two verses, 11 and 12, I think we should meditate on them and make them applicable to our life. Blessed are you when men shall revile you and persecute you and say all manner of evil against you falsely. Make sure when they say it, it is false. And once somebody says something about you that is false, as a child of God, you have nothing to worry about. He said, for great is your reward in heaven. For so they did to those who were before you. So once you are godly and you're pressing the things of God, the devil is going to raise up people against you because he don't want the truth to go out. He don't want people to be clean and holy and righteous. So we have to take note of these two verses and make them applicable to our lives. God bless you, Auntie Blossie, and enjoy your weekend.
Thank you, Mr. Jeremiah. You do the same. It is open phone line here on the program, 435-2041. That's a landline. It's also the WhatsApp, only written messages on WhatsApp, please. You can also post your comments, questions, queries, concerns on the GBN Television Facebook page and the Grenada Broadcasting Network's YouTube channel. Morning, caller.
Good morning, Blossom.
Good morning.
Yes, I want to make a complaint here. I am Terence Gibbon from St. Max. I am making this complaint as a former worker of the Grenada Bottling Company, Tempe St. George's. Employed as a salesman, started working from 1990 up to 2017, about 27 years. Now, I got injured while lifting heavy truck siding inside the company, transporting drinks from the factory to the distribution center. My heart was affected due to a strained muscle, which kept me 6 months in the hospital, 6 weeks in the hospital. I was told by the hospital authorities that I wouldn't be able to do any work again. I am home now without receiving anything from the company. I lost every cent, as you know, in this Clico company, above all this. I reported the matter to the Commercial and Industrial Workers Union with no concrete response. After paying all these union dues for 27 years, instead, I was told to see the constituency rep, Miss Clarice Modeste. I took the matter to the ombudsman. They said this problem does not fall under their jurisdiction. I carry the letter to from the doctor to the human resource manager of the company, Miss Diana Hopkins. I think it would be safe calling her name. I checked back after after a few weeks after I checked back to her office. I was told that she is out of the island on medical purpose. When I inquire again, I was told she is no more employed with the bottling company. So the office cannot do nothing because they have no knowledge of this matter. Now, she is now employed at the Blue Horizon, I was told by other sources.
Caller, sorry, this is the third name that you're dropping. Could you refrain from calling names of companies and so?
Right. I called the receptionist there, and I was asked to leave my number so she will get back to me. Months now, no call, no response. The Ministry of Labor will be my last resort before taking it further. I cannot be hostile towards a company that was being so good to me over these years. But I mean, some consideration must be given to workers who got injured on the job. All right, so I'm making this known on the radio. Thank you.
Thank you very much, caller. Thank you very much. There is a WhatsApp comment. Somebody on WhatsApp says, in my observation of students who sat the CSEC examinations this year, I noticed that male and female students were allowed to sit exams with braids or tattoos that were exposed. I am asking the Minister of Education to look into this, please. When I was in school, this was not allowed at all, and you yourself can testify to that as well. How could the principals and teachers allow these students to sit the exams? That's the question. Why were they allowed to sit the exam, especially if it's exposed? I recall there being, I don't think it was during my time, I recall there being some students, let me say one, with a tattoo, but it was covered. And I don't think the teachers or the faculty was aware of the tattoo. I think it was on her back or something like that. But if it's exposed, maybe the rules have since been slackened. It's been a while since I've left school. So I am not sure. I was about to ask which institution, but maybe you yourself can bring it up with the Ministry of Education. Maybe the invigilators are quote unquote not concerned, and the principals probably not in the room when they're doing the exam, so they're not aware either. They probably got it during the lockdown. I don't know. So maybe you can bring the issue to the Ministry of Education and provide them with more information as to which institution and so on and so forth, and not just rest on hoping that the authorities know and they're just not doing anything about it. Bring it up with the authorities yourself. Good morning, caller.
Yes, good morning, Citizen Welsh. Greetings, how are you?
I'm good,
Listen,
Citizen
Welsh.
Uh-huh.
Let me begin by saying that I feel, and let me say, I stand in solidarity with your last caller. And I would like to say I admire his controlled anguish. It's a sad thing, ain't it?
I agree.
Let me tell you this, Miss Jeremiah. Very nice reading there this morning. Now it takes me to my genuine point, Citizen Welsh. You have heard me, Brain. Well, let's just read. You have heard us. I don't like this fighting and meeting. Brain from time to time on this public radio about some very serious national issues. One, to wit, the state of our so-called constitution, which nobody seems to want to talk about. But we wouldn't stop. Two, the bequeathing of our national hydrocarbon patrimony, where this here country has been deprived, according to conservative estimate, of $2 billion. Some people don't understand the seriousness of this. Look at where we are today. I've also raised my voice about the abuse of the state of Grenada against people with disabilities, contravening at all levels the 50 articles of the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. But I want to add another battle this morning, Citizen Welsh. It has to do with the satanic cult that has invaded our country and has shrouded in its curse. Note, I didn't say culture. I said cult. Two different words, they may sound alike. Brothers and sisters, I am convinced that in this here country, the adaptation of this so-called jab culture is hurting this country. That's my view. I don't expect anybody to share it to me, but I express it because I have all right to do so. And therefore I suggest that we move into a state of exorcism. Not necessarily through the church, but whereas I believe too that only a people can save the people, I believe that we have to seriously reflect on this jab thing, this demonic and evil thing. We have all heard of the names given to the evil one, the devil, Satan, Beelzebub, what else they call him, all kind of names. But I also have heard of the Lord Jesus, God Jehovah, and Jesus Christ, etc. Two different things altogether, two different realms. And therefore I ask this question, brothers and sisters, and you can consider it in your consideration of my previous exposition. How do we feel as Grenadians? Just imagine. How do we feel as a people that Satan thinks or feels when he stands there in quote-unquote his place and look upon us as Grenadians in the exercise of what we call fun and enjoyment during the practice of this demonic jab culture and rituals? How do you think he feels? I'll give you some options, which is a little easier. To make it a little easier. One, indifferent. In other words, couldn't care less. Two, very, or should I say extremely happy. Three, extremely sad. Choose your choice. And let's talk about it, brothers and sisters. This is what I would like to leave so that we can, and I won't drop this one on you. Chupete said chupeta. Should I say chupetita? Which is suck that little lollipop. And let's talk about it. The time has just come. So without much ado, Citizen Welsh, I'll drop it back to you. Have a nice day, will you?
Thank you very much, Citizen Rollo. You do the same. Enjoy your day and your weekend as well. Let me scroll through the social media before I go back to the phone lines. There is nothing on Facebook, YouTube, or WhatsApp. So let me go back to the phone line. Good morning, caller.
Hello, good morning, and how are you?
Good morning, I'm great. How are you?
Fine. I just want to support Mr. Rollo on the last point he made about the jab, and we take pride in identifying with the devil. But two other points I want to make. One is that what has happened here recently, I've seen that I can accurately recall in 2008 during the election campaign, the current leader of the NDC today said to the Grenadian people that she was not involved in politics, it's civil society. Only to discover after the elections and the NDC won that she was given a ministerial post, office, and she did not decline. She accepted it. Last week on your program, a gentleman was there and he was speaking about the youth, etc., etc. And he too said that he was not involved in politics. I think when an individual is vying for public office, he should be honest. I think the time has come to end the vulgarity. If you identified with X or Y party, that's your right. But do not go on the national radio or tell the nation, hey, I am not involved politically. But in a covert way, you are a political activist. That's dishonesty and that's immorality. I think if I have a position politically and I identify with a party, it should be public knowledge, especially if I'm interested in running for public office. That nonsense has to stop. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much, caller, for your participation. Somebody on Facebook, was it? Yes, somebody on Facebook asks, what does the children's tattoo have to do with them taking exams, and why shouldn't they be allowed to take the exams? And because the tattoo is not part of their uniform. Just like they can't go to school and take exams with short pants and tin strap top, tattoo is not part of your uniform. Back in my days, you can't have them thing. Yes, colloquially, you can't have them thing. You can't even come to school, much less to take the exams. So hopefully that sheds a little light. Somebody else on Facebook says, I support this caller, which is the previous caller. Stop the fakeness. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Blossom. How you doing?
I'm good. How you do?
I'm fine, myself.
All right, go ahead.
A long time I haven't called this program because I've been dealing with something for a little while now. And Blossom, people around me should know my voice and they might know me well. I'm a farmer in the Southern Swayze area. I've been farming there for the last 18 years on a plot of land where I plant corn and peas and where my cows in it. Most people that know me know that. You know, past government come and go, they know that. I've been clamming for water in that area for the last 15 years. Finally, the government decided to put the water in the Shambo area. Well, I plant my corn and peas on a plot of land, and then where my cows in there. This man just walk in there, bring a tractor, and plow up my corn and peas. I went to the police station. The police said, well, I don't own the land, and he don't own the land, so they could do about that. So they leave us to fight, basically. I refused to fight because to me, that would leave it to the fight. So the man fucked up my corn and peas. Then he sprayed Gramazone, right, in the area where there is grass. A cow of mine that grew up there, they call it only Bonley on that plot of land. Grew up on that plot of land. The cow went in the grass. The cow had a young one in the belly. He was pregnant. That cow died just last week. You know? I don't know what kind of justice system we have in this country. Because if the man don't own the land, I don't own the land. I don't want to land in Zambia. I'm just working the land for the last 18 years with no disturbance. Nobody harassed me. Nobody even called my name. Most people that know me know that. Yeah? And I've been calling this program for years now, coming for water in that area. All of a sudden, this man just show up, plow my land. I come and pizza this 3 weeks old on the land, he just plow it up. Go to the station, Sutter's police station. They tell me they can't do nothing about that because I have no title to the land. I understand that. But the man damaged my crops on the land. So what are they doing about that? He don't own the land also too. So you leave us to fight now. Then they say they're going to investigate. They're going to investigate. They'll come in the community and ask people who've been working here for the last couple of years. Up to now, it's a month now, right? A month now. Sutter's police haven't done nothing about it. Not a thing. They leave me and a man to fight. Literally pull cutlass and fight. I refuse to do that. So I'm calling on people that knows me. I'm calling this program. There are people in authority to just step in before something happens, because eventually something will happen. Eventually. Because I'm not going to just let my animals die like that. This man spraying grandma's zone close to a river, close to the sea. Come on. I mean, these people are crazy. Any water from that area flows straight to the river and down to the sea. You're spraying grandma's zone in an area where animals, it's been, frequently moving around. You come on this land, 18 years I've been there now, Blossom. 18 years. There are kids that grew up that are walking now. Since I've been there.
Okay.
No disturbance, So I'm calling on somebody in authority to try to help me, because something's going to happen on me eventually, and something will happen.
Okay.
I'm not going to leave it like that, you understand?
All right.
It's not going to happen like that.
Thank you very much, caller.
Have a nice day, Blossom.
Thank you, you too. Caller, I am sad to hear the situation you're in, but I could understand the police's response. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying I can understand. For someone who watches court cases on a regular basis, from what you're saying, none of you have right or ownership to the land. Yes, you've been working it for 18 years, as you say, but the bottom line is it's not yours, it's not his. So whose side should I be on? So I can understand. I repeat, I understand, but I'm not saying that it is right that they leave it up to the both of you. I'm not sure what advice I can give at the moment, but I would implore you to not escalate the situation. You made a statement that you don't know what's going to happen, but I'm just going to encourage you to keep calm. Don't escalate the situation. Don't push it too far, because you may be saying you're not sure what's going to happen, and you might end up being on the bitter end of the stick. I'm just saying. Let me take a caller. Good morning, caller.
Hi, good morning, Blossom.
Morning.
Just a clarification.
Mm-hmm.
I've been hearing an announcement, a public service announcement or ad, whatever you want to call it, about COVID. I think it may be done from an individual health organization or some other body, but it may not have been originated in Grenada. It speaks of the patient being able to transmit the disease 7 days after symptoms or something. What does that mean? You play it most of in the mornings. To me, you should check what the wording of that is, because I don't think it really makes a lot of sense. Because there are people who have no symptoms at all and they're transmitting it. And people who have it and they start showing symptoms, sometimes they have it for months. There are people who have it from February to now and they still have it. So saying that you can still transmit it up to 7 days after you start showing symptoms, I don't know what that means. I would just encourage you to try to get that ad that you normally run. Or I think it's a public service announcement. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
Try to listen to what it says. I don't know if you could play it again sometime this morning during the course of your program, if you have access to it. But to me, what it's saying there is very unclear to me at least. But that is 7 days after you show symptoms or something like that. I don't know what that really means. So if you could find it, play it to your hearing, see if you can understand and decode it, tell us what it means. But to me, it's not making real sense. Okay? I just thought I'll share that because I hear it every day. And every time I hear it, I keep asking, what is it saying? All right?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I would have thought that it was straightforward, but I guess not. What the PSA was saying, I wonder if I could play it. What the PSA was saying, I'm not sure if I could play it. What the PSA is saying is if you have flu symptoms do the right thing and stay at home to avoid giving it to others. Remember, you can be infectious for up to a week after developing symptoms, so rest up. To me, that means even if it's been a week and you still have the symptoms, you can still pass it on to others. You can still pass on COVID-19 to others. I am not sure how much more... shucks. I am not sure how much more explanation I can give on that. Hopefully that... I'm not sure if that helped. Hopefully. Let me go back to the phone lines. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Ms. Blossom. Thanks again for having me on the line, but I'll go by the land business now, concerning about the guy own the land, the another guy own the land. None of them not own the land, right? But one feels they're more bad, so, so they're going and make trouble. If it's me and I know I own no land, I live in them with the land because I passed through that already, right? My father leave all the property, the one man go and take out. And I living with it, he tell me the land is yours, so what I go do? He's not, I'm sure it's not yours, and I'm sure it's not mine. So wait until I get mine. Right? Guys, all I could say, so, trying to go and fight for people think, guys, not yours, leave it there, wait, leave them with the thing, your father thing not yours, your mother thing not yours, go and get yours. Right? Your mother thing is their own. And if they're giving you, buy it from them instead, because I know the reason why he got confusion with his brother and sister. So they'll leave it there right now until Monday, please God.
Thank you very much, Mr. Badu. You are thinking like I am, so sometimes to not escalate things, I just leave it as it is. I could understand your affinity for the plot of land. You've been working it, you say, for 18 years, and you may want to continue. But sometimes prevention is better than cure. Just as though you got that piece of land, however you may have gotten it, you could get another piece. I'm not encouraging, hold on, stop. I'm not encouraging just going and hijack people's land, but I'm just saying sometimes you just need to walk away. Let's take a quick break and then we're going to come back inside. This is Open Phone Line on To The Point, GBN Classic Hot 98. We'll be right back.
We set out to build something, not for us, but for you. In 1932, we set out on a mission to establish an institution that catered to the financial needs of every Grenadian. We envisioned a space where our people felt secure and welcome to do business with familiar faces. This was more than a commercial enterprise. Because we considered you to be family, we saw ourselves as building more than just a bank. We likened this establishment to a house. Since we opened our doors in 1933, you've remained with us ever since, growing with us and saving with us, but most importantly, trusting us to safeguard your interests. Through unrest and turmoil, you put your faith in us to be the shelter against adversity. Your trust is the foundation upon which we continue to build to provide stability and support for your dreams and aspirations. Your trust helped our family to grow, and as we grew, your needs grew in tandem. So we developed, expanding our accommodations to make you comfortable, transforming our humble abode to a modern center of business and commerce, while preserving our warm, friendly, family atmosphere. As we furnished our house with efficient services, you decorated our offices, walkways, and counters with smiles, love, and satisfaction, giving us the impetus to improve and do more. It took vision to build this establishment, and our vision has always revolved around the well-being of our people. It is vision that continues to guide our development, a vision of growth, a vision of expansion, a vision of the future. A vision that recognizes that the world is a global village and that technology has become an integral part of our lives. A vision that embraces the efficiencies of technology and its importance in diversifying our corporate and retail portfolios. A vision that represents your vision, your interests, and your needs. You see, we built a house, but it didn't take us long to realize that people, our people, make it home. Welcome home.
COVID-19 spreads from person to person through the droplets that are produced when someone coughs or sneezes, which makes it easy to spread between people in close contact. Now let's get prepared to stay healthy.
To reduce your chance of catching or spreading COVID-19, practice these simple everyday preventative measures. Droplets can also land on surfaces, so ensure that you wash your hands frequently for a minimum of 20 seconds or sing the happy birthday song twice. Avoid touching your face, especially your eyes, nose, and mouth. If soap and water are not readily available, use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer with an alcohol content between 60 and 90%. 70% is ideal.
When you cough or sneeze, cover your nose and mouth with a flexed elbow or a tissue. Dispose of the tissue immediately and then wash your hands.
Welcome back to Open Phone Line here on To The Point. Let's go right back to the phone lines. Good morning, caller.
Good morning.
Morning.
I want to respond, if I have the ability to respond to different situations. Now, I always see that different people learn different things to different level. Sometimes you might explain something, and because of a person's development, he might learn 5% out of what you say, another one may learn 10, another one may learn 100%. So he may develop and understand all what you say. You don't expect every one of us to develop at the same level and are developed at the same level. For example, I listen to programs and I would say, what is that going on? What am I learning from that? Another one would say, I could give you an example, but I won't give you. I've learned a lot. Now, when people speak, different people learn different things at different levels. For example, if you make an advertisement, I may get much more out of it than another person. Another person may get less. For example, I've listened to program, and I said that is a useless program because nobody is learning out of it. Now, when I look at certain things that have been broadcast, I ask myself, what is happening? Now, this last person that spoke there, I don't know what specifically they were talking about, but it's likely to be true. Now, some advertisement was very confusing because I could even, let me tell you this morning you were talking about soap. Which soap either is the best or what, when you compare them then? Or the better? Now I look at it. Some people say blue soap. They could be right. It depends on what you mean, not you, what one mean by the best. Some people explain that blue soap is better because it cleans the skin. Some people just say Lux soap and they end. I was asking before that, what do I earn by you just saying Lux? When I say you, sorry, one saying Lux soap. Maybe I learn when the other one says blue soap is better because it cleans the skin and so on and so on and so on. So this is how I look at life. Now, even with the coronavirus, a lot of people have different concepts. As for example, some would say asymptomatic, some would say healthy carrier, but I would believe most people would understand what you mean by healthy carrier. But when you talk about this big word, I don't mean it large as the house, This big word. Obviously, few people would understand it. And what I prefer, when people making or they're explaining things, as for example the virus, you have to explain it that the ordinary man would understand.
Okay.
I'm below an ordinary man. So sometimes I understand some of them things. For example, you said something just now there, and that just fell off my head about something the people when they say so they mean so.
Okay.
The people have to give the people in ordinary terms, as you would say, layman's term, that the ordinary person below average could understand. Then you would get more cooperation.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, caller. I get what you're saying about the last part, but sometimes using the proper phrases and, like some people say, quote unquote, big words, helps educate. Prior to COVID-19, I did not know the word asymptomatic. And I'm sure that stands for a lot of people as well. So yes, you would use layman terms, and sometimes when they introduce words, they would tell you asymptomatic, meaning people don't have the symptoms. So you learn in the process. We can't always be using layman terms. Let me go to the social media. I haven't read some of the comments in a while. A YouTuber says, the citizenship by investment program is devaluing Grenada's real estate. No Grenadian house should be sold for less than millions of US dollars. Somebody on Facebook says, Grenadians are too sensitive when it comes to issues now. For the older folks, you must remember you were young at a period of time. You older now, you think you are wiser than others. Somebody else on Facebook says, in accordance to the farmers' concern, there must be something the police can do. This is the damage of property, meaning the crops. When police refuse to act, it leaves the citizens no choice but to resolve their issues. Unfortunately, most times it ends in violence. Good morning, caller.
Hi, good morning, Blossom. How are you?
Good morning, I'm good. How you do?
I'm very flu-like.
Flu-like symptoms?
Yes. So I'm calling to find out, to ask you seriously, as you said a while ago, that once you're showing flu-like symptoms, you should stay home and refrain from spreading it further. What I want to know is if it's like any flu-like symptoms, because I have little sneezes, not very much coughing, but the sniffing and the sneezing and the flute. You know, you get a sore throat when you get in a bad cold or something like that. So what I want to know is if I should take it seriously and do something about it, or if it's just something that's in the air. That's one. Number two, this is a very concerned matter. I've been hearing for like maybe 2 years, maybe more now. There's this gentleman that walks around and boguses people. I came across him yesterday.
Walks around and does what? Sorry.
He begs people in a bad way. He gets money from you in a bad way. I've heard a lot of ladies, especially one or two men, calling and complaining about him. And I met him yesterday. And I'm wondering if there is nothing the police could do about it, because that's a matter of fraud. He's stealing from people. He doesn't have to. I put him to a stop yesterday, and he was like, good cussing me off. Well, God forgive me, I had to answer him back. I don't like to disrespect people, but he was a little too disrespectful. Understand? So I'm wondering if the police can't, I know him very well, and I know a lot of other people know him, can't do anything about that, because he goes to older people who are living off of the pension, who might have the children selling something for them, and that's all they have to go by. And to be honest, I look at it as something that's not nice. Thank you. Have a blessed weekend.
Thank you, caller. You have yourself a good weekend as well. First things first, take it seriously. Better safe than sorry. From the smallest of sneezes to the heaviest of coughs, I suggest you contact the hotline. I am looking for the number now, as a matter of fact. But in the meantime, you can maybe look in the phone book for the Ministry of Health's telephone number and contact them, and they can further guide you. I am not saying that you have it. That is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is better safe than sorry. One phone call. There we go. 438-4787 or 43-virus. And the digital number is 558-virus. I think it's 58-virus. But either way, call them just in case. Describe your symptoms to them, and they can better guide you as to what needs to take place. Better safe than sorry. It could just be a flu, it could be the snuffles, but I ain't taking nothing light, I'm going to be honest. The other thing as it relates to the man that begs, the gentleman that begs, maybe you can make a formal complaint to the police and let them know your concerns, that he is quote-unquote aggressive, and maybe they can take it from there. Some of them, I guess, their situation has them a little bit, on the hasty side. But just in case, just maybe make a formal complaint so the police can actually formally act on the concern. Good morning, caller.
Yeah, good morning, Blossom. And how are you?
I'm good. How you do?
Oh, I'm doing wonderfully well, by the
Nice.
grace of God.
Amen.
Yeah, so I just want to respond briefly to this comment that this woman made about that person. I had an encounter with him as well. I think it is him. I was in a store and he just came up to me and in a very nice way and asked me for money. So I said, what do you want the money for? And he just started to cuss me. And I said, okay. I said, you're cussing me and you want my money? And he just walked away. But what I would like to say, okay, right, the woman said, recommended that the police could pick him up and whatever. But what I want to say is, okay, the police might pick him up and he might end up in prison, right? That doesn't solve the problem. We have a spiritual problem in our society, not just in our society, but in the world as a whole. And you cannot deal with spiritual problem with a physical approach. Now, this young man, I pity him, because my heart goes out, not just for him, but all the other people on the street that we call vagrants. It's not just him. There are a lot of other people on the street whom we call vagrants, and we look down on them. We say, oh, because of their deeds, they're on the street. And some of them, do you know that some of these individuals on the street, wicked people, have what you said, past obia on them? Do you know that? So what I want to say is that the church, which I'm a part of, I am so disappointed with the Church of Jesus Christ that these people are on the street. And, some people do reach out to them, but some pastors, some ministers of the gospel will pass these people on the street and would not even pray for them. These people need deliverance. That is what they need. The police picking them up and bringing and arresting them and put them in the prison, that would not solve the problem. So what I'm saying is, the church needs to rise up. The state of affairs of a nation is a reflection of the state of affairs of the church. I'm sad to say I am a part of the church, but I'm fed up. I don't know what God could do again. God allowed the coronavirus into the world, and yet still most of the churches are still asleep. What we need to do is repent, because many of the pastors, I'm not afraid to say it, many of the pastors have allowed all sorts of evil to creep into the church, all sorts of immorality. Some of them pastors themselves are doing a lot of wickedness. So God is saying to repent. Now, I also call in on the church. I have been making this plea over and over. Last time you had the Prime Minister on your program recently, I think it was To The Point program, and you posed a lot of questions to him. One of the concerns that you raised to him was regarding a national day of praise and thanksgiving unto the Lord, because here it is in Grenada, we had 23 cases of the coronavirus. None of these people died. Not only that, all of them recovered. Now, there is a story in the Bible about the 10 leprous men. 10 of them got healed, and only one went back to Jesus. I only heard one of those people that got healed spoke on the television of how he thanked the hospital, he thanked the nurses, he thanked the doctors, he thanked God, and so on. None of the other 22 individuals, you never hear them come out and say nothing. And know that it's a stigma. It will be a stigma for them to come out and identify themselves. But you have to put away stigma, and when God does something like that for you, you ought to testify. You ought to let the world know that God is a miracle-working God.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Blossom.
Thank you very much, caller. She said a lot. I was going to respond to something and it slipped me. She said a lot. Let me read some of the WhatsApp comments. Somebody on WhatsApp says, I woke up in tears this morning just thinking about how this country is going. Everything is yellow and green and not country. I pray God guides us, that we would change. I'm not a carnival person, but this double standard in Grenada would cause problems. May God continue to bless us. Another WhatsApper says, Brother Terry must take his concern to the Ministry of Labor and the minister and take the letter written to the Labor Commissioner to Mr. Somebody in Shantimel, and success is guaranteed. Please take action. How come the WHO praised the United States for action it took to save thousands of lives with COVID? The gander on my cell phone saying something different. Another WhatsApper before I go back to the phone lines. The police is quite correct. He can only go to court for a ruling on the damages. So take the person to court not necessarily for damaging the land, but damaging the crops. Good morning, caller.
Citizen Welsh, I beg your humble indulgences for 1 minute to make an appeal.
1 minute.
Yes. Recently, I read an article on a newspaper, I think it is Grenade or something, relative to a person in the St. Andrew area with a disability who went into a known business entity and was rejected entry. I'm calling out, I choose not to call the name of the individual, but my dear brother, or anyone as relative of that dear brother, to give me a holler. I'd like to talk to you about the issue. The number 231 John. Very easy. The two upper lines of the... Oh, no, you're not visually impaired. Sorry. Yeah, 231-5646. I'd appreciate having a word with you on the issue so that we can talk about it, because this I consider to be abuse. Thank you very much, Citizen Welsh, and you have a nice day. Will you?
Thank you, Citizen Rolo. You do the same. Back to WhatsApp. To the St. Patrick land caller, not owner. You can get a lawyer and make a possessory titles claim. With this act, you can lawfully claim land you have occupied for a period of years. Somebody else on WhatsApp says, I don't know who I should call to assist me with an autistic child who has become very abusive to his mother. Child Protection said they can do nothing after waiting for months. Child Protection is to protect the child, not the mother, so maybe call Gino or the Ministry of Social Development. The Ministry of Social Development can be a point of contact or a starting point. Somebody else on WhatsApp says, are the people of our nation listening to regional and international news? Worldwide, all nations are reporting a rise in COVID, especially with mass gatherings like those. Why risk our blessings so far? God has been good to us. Be thankful while I am singing No So. The people not understanding virtual entertainment, this is very good therapy for our mental health. I agree about that part. I want to highlight, let me make sure the phone is not ringing. Right. I want to highlight the mini regatta last week in Karakou when it was said that all events was cancelled because of COVID. The people of Karakou would like to know who gives the authority to have that celebration and how much money was given to the community for the event. I think it's not fair to the people of Grenada seeing that Karakou were given the rights to have a mini regatta and they can't be given a mini juve to play their job. If it's good for one, should be good for all. And there was no mask, neither social distancing on the boats coming up or the day of the event. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Blossom. I'm a one-time caller, but I had to come back just to tell you. 1 minute. Blossom. Well, yeah. The police, I know the police supposed to take the individual for damaging my crop, but the police is not making a move on it. That's what I find is baffling. You know, I know that. I know the land is not mine. That's what I say. I know the land is not mine. The land is not his. So I know basically we have to go to court for that. But I know based on the damage of the property, the crops on the land, you can't just walk into cannon peas 3 weeks old and just run a tractor over it like you're some boss in this country and you just do what you want and police. I mean, what the law is for? What the police is for? Because they leave us to fight among ourselves. So I should pull a cutlass and go out, look for him and deal with him. That's what I should, because the point I'm trying to say is that I pay people to open the hole. I buy my condom kits and I plant it. You just run a tractor over it. After 18 years of working there, nobody saw, because they bring in water in Shambo area. You think you could just come and just bulldoze me from the land that you never worked in your life. Yeah?
Okay.
And then, you understand?
Understood.
That's the point I'm trying to make.
Thank you, caller.
So I'm going to the law. I need the law to take its course.
Okay.
You know?
All right.
Have a nice day.
You too. Caller, maybe you can get an attorney, get a lawyer that can assist you. And I've advised previous callers as well, if you're not getting satisfaction at one police station, try another. It may work, whereas it may not, but at least you're exploring all avenues. Do not rest on just one police station. Somebody else may be able to assist, whether it's headquarters. Yes, officers, I'm sending them all over the place. Headquarters, it is St. Andrew. They may say it's a jurisdiction issue, but somebody may hear your plea and make or help you in your fight and force the officers to act, just in case. Just in case you're not getting satisfaction one, try another avenue. Let me go back by WhatsApp. Somebody says jab is not a devil thing. That's nonsense. Another WhatsApper, if people don't know who the land belongs to and that doesn't belong to them, they need to contact the owners of the land. That's another area. Somebody else, a politician uses all kinds of big words in their presentation and we say nothing. The country needs God ASAP. Let me... Phone line? No? Okay. Somebody on Facebook says, I think the Prime Minister is setting a bad precedent when he refused to bring charges against the companies who decided to defraud the government COVID money, and some people were denied getting that money because of victimization against the resorts they worked for. Example, the Kim Mills Resort in Karakou. Look at the Sheldon Scott phone bill. Not a cent paid back. Is the laws in Grenada for a few and not others? Back to the phone line. Good morning, caller.
Hello, morning.
Morning.
How you doing?
I'm good.
Oh, no, I've got a sudden noise. Sorry.
No problem.
Two things, basically. That whole issue of consumers' rights in this country, just what day before it was, or yesterday, a bill was considered in the Senate relative to it. And there was one of the senators talking about something that I've had the biggest gripe of in this country for the longest while. I've complained about for the longest while. And that is the communication providers, especially, who bring electronic gazette and so on in the place, and other companies who does it too. And there is no backup accessories for them. Your phone, you buy a phone, the battery gone, you go by Flow tells you they're not selling accessories. And I suppose just about all I don't know for sure if Digicel does it, but I know Flow for sure. They tell me just even last week before by now, they don't sell accessories for phone. When I thought I needed a new battery for a phone that I bought just 4 months ago, but it's not the fault of the phone itself. It's something that had happened to the phone. I thought it might have needed a new battery, but so I went to them. No accessories. Now, in the midst of all that, on top of all that too, the NTRC, which is responsible for giving license to these companies, just sit there and let them run roughshod over the customers. I've complained on that already. What is the NTRC doing about our situation relative to the exploitation and advantage that these companies are taking on people? You have to go and buy something, you complain every day, no redress. What is going on in this country? With the kind of frustration with this COVID that people are having, I can understand, when you sit and you do nothing for a long time, you could get frustrated. And this is why all this confusion happening around now. But don't forget that the frustration that people are experiencing relative to the electronic company and so on. Every morning you listen to a certain program, or just about every morning, you hear people complaining that they have this problem with Flow for months. They're complaining to them and nothing is being done. What is going on in this country? The kind of frustration people are experiencing. Something's going to blow up. Something is going to blow one day. We really need to address these things, and then the NTRC just sit down there and let these people do anything and get away with it. No respect for the customers. Time for something to be done. Take care.
Thank you very much, caller. In relation to the NTRC, you say a lot of people call a radio station and complaining. That's not the proper procedure. See, a lot of times we hope NTRC listening to the radio and they could hear the complaint, or that this company is listening. No, follow the proper procedure. Go to NTRC. I remember earlier this year, NTRC started a weekly or a monthly program here on Classic telling you about procedures that need to take place when it comes to NTRC business. and there's a procedure to follow. You have to file a proper complaint and so on and so forth. I'm not saying that you haven't. I'm just saying calling the radio station is not enough. Make a proper complaint if you have one and follow the proper procedures, and do not just call the radio station, complain, and hope for the best. Let me quickly wrap up the program. Somebody on Facebook was asking if there are any updates on flights coming from the U.S. to Grenada. Since the Prime Minister, was it the Prime Minister? Yes, since the Prime Minister announced that while MBIA would be open to international flights on the 1st, the U.S. was not on that list. I have not heard an update since then, so I believe the U.S. is still barred, still barred from entering the state. If I hear an update, I would let you know, but for now, those of you in the U.S., which is the hot spot for COVID, stay in the U.S. Stay over there. I think those are all the comments and questions. Let me quickly scan through WhatsApp to ensure that there are no further questions. Yes, I think that is all that we have this morning. Thank you so much for participating and for tuning in, calling, writing, posting, however you participated, or just lending me your ears or your eyes. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time. That's the end of my time today, the end of my time this week. I'll be back with you bright and early Monday, God willing. Until then, continue to stay safe and stay healthy. It should be Carnival weekend, but remember, there's no Carnival. There is no Carnival. However you choose to spend your weekend, continue to be safe. Practice proper hygiene. Continue to protect yourself and your loved ones, just in case. This morning we had a caller said she's sneezing and she had a little dry throat. You don't know who else sneezing and have a little dry throat. Miss, I'm not saying you have the virus. I'm just saying continue to protect yourselves. Stay healthy. Stay blessed. Joseph is up next with Mid-Morning Buzz. Have yourselves a bright, prosperous, productive, safe, and healthy weekend. Bye-bye.